Oh! 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 Oh, Elden Ring. Oh. What's up, chat? Ah. Hey, Avantax. Thanks for the Prime sub. I appreciate the support. Rules of nature. So I haven't really gotten much sleep because I was Elden Ringing last night. I was like, you know what? I think I should just finish up the DLC. But I forgot that, you know, Bussy and his sexy brother wife were pretty strong, and I was smashing myself into Radahn's thick, fat, mind-controlled cock for, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours. And then I was like, okay, maybe I should go and get some more scat tree fragments. And I started exploring other parts of the map. So yeah, I haven't gotten any sleep. I can't believe Mog wasn't a true Bussy lover. It all belongs to Radahn now. You know who the real loser in this whole thing is? Melania, Blade of Mikola. We have a true Shiskon trying to protect her incredibly cute Shota brother, who is just like One-chan. One-chan and her rotting body will protect you. Don't worry, honey. But her brother is gay as hell. And he only cares a bit about big fat Radahn dick. It's all very tragic. Nasty rot AIDS. That's how I'm beating Radahn, by the way, is I just rot aid him using the Melania Rot Explosion magic spell, and then I hide behind my tower shield until he dies from the damage over time. I've gotten him down to like 1/7 health or so multiple times, but then he does the whole fly up into the sky and come down as a star explosion one-shot you thing. And I can't figure out the timing in which it doesn't kill me. So that's kind of the problem with enemies that have like one move that just like kills you every time, but they only do it once, is you can't really practice the timing, you know? Until they actually do it. I've always been pretty bad at figuring out when the attack frames are active in Dark Souls games, which is why I use Tower Shield so often, but... Erdtree Radahn should one-shot you immediately if you use Scarlet Aeonia against him, but he doesn't, because he's a fucking pussy, and also he's mind-controlled. This isn't actual Radahn, this is like dead corpse version of Radahn. It's the version of your childhood tomboy girlfriend, except the ugly, neat otaku guy got a mind control app on his cell phone, and she looked at it, and now she's become his sex slave. Except it's the final boss of the video game. You can run away? Yeah, but like he flies up, so I don't know where I should be running. Is it like a multiple hit attack, the falling star charge thing? Can you not just like dodge roll it? I don't know how many invincibility frames you have on your dodge roll, but if it's like 5 hits, then I don't know if that would work. Here I am staring at fantasy map tutorials and you're working on backgrounds, but this shit is ridiculously hard, makes me respect map designers more. Background artist too. If I become a professional mangaka, I will just hire someone to draw that shit for me, but alas, that's not what's going on right now. The shit must be drawn by me. The reason I was saying background is hard was because I was smashing this image last night, right here. Drawing, you know, big ass, I don't know, underground cave palace shit. It's not great, but it's good enough for now. Still haven't beaten Radon, eh? 2 things cannot happen at the same time. Drawing and playing Miyazaki's latest shitty game. That's bullshit. How are you so good? The reason I'm good is because I'm looking at reference images by people who are better than me. I have all these Toriko pen references, and I'm trying to mimic the pen work. But luckily they have some nice shots of being in the cave. So I've been staring at this panel for like 6 hours, trying specifically to mimic, okay, you do this hatching here, and then you put this lighter gray here, and then you make sure you put the white here, and then you put white here, you put white here, and then you make sure you have hard black areas here. I've been looking at that. You put hatching up top, you know. What a diligent boy you are, working hard on those backgrounds. It's really the only one large background shot we have in this chapter, so it's not that big a deal. Everything else is just sort of like backgrounds on the side instead of like the background being the full focus of the picture. I got back into Elden Ring and I overestimated Int. Is Int not very good? I heard that Int and Dex were kind of nerfed because they were so broken in the beginning of Elden Ring. Remember when Elden Ring first came out and everyone was just spamming Sword of Night and Flame? And like you could shoot a laser beam or some shit and just like wipe out bosses from across the map. I believe they went a little too crazy with Int in the early stages of the game, so now they've nerfed everything. I'm not very good. Wait, can you just summon people to have them beat everything in Elden Ring? I literally never play online and I don't summon and shit, so I don't know. I've never tried that. But is that still an option? I don't really follow the summoning mechanics in any of the Souls games because I never use them. I always just play offline. But is that still like the ultimate easy mode, is just summon Giga Chad Pothead to fuck your wife for you? You can, yes, you can summon bros. Yeah, that's the best way to do it. I'm bad at the game and just summon people to help kill the bosses. I basically use the in-between option, which is me and Mimic Bro. If you summon someone else to fuck your rot wife, then that's being a cuckold. But if it's you and Mimic Bro, then he's basically just another version of yourself, so it's okay to share. Nothing awkward about that. I don't want to summon. It's not that hard, bro. Just respec. I don't know. I was fighting against Radon, and if I actually had to dodge all that fucking swingy swing shit that he does non-stop, I think I would go fucking crazy. I'm glad I'm just have full strength and have massive overpowered tower shields to just block everything. Although, whatever your build is, I think you can trivialize fights if you use consumables and stuff. If you actually exploit all the option the game gives you, I think you can just straight up smash enemies pretty easily no matter what your build is. I'm saying this because I was on 4chan the other day and they were talking about how armor isn't as good in Elden Ring, and then someone posted a video where someone wearing a full armor build fought the DLC Radon without dodging or blocking or using flasks at all, and he just face tanked every single hit and just kept on whacking Radon without like ever getting below half health. So I don't know what the full list of buffs was, but it was like 12 different buffs, 12 different consumables, and he was also using Great Stars, which is the giant mace with spikes on it that I often use. That it recovers hit points on hit, but I guess when you're fully buffed up, you can just straight up face tank shit without even blocking or dodging. So I know that video. Yeah, I saw that and I was like, yeah. I'm definitely not using all the tools the game actually gives me because I don't like using consumables. Because it feels bad to use consumables, because if you do lose after you've used the consumable, it's like, shit, I've used one of my consumables. Now I have to like restock or something, right? That feels bad, so I fucking hate using consumables. But I think if you actually use the full buffering, you can basically, because I don't use the boiled crab, the legendary boiled crab. I can't remember what it does. What was the effect of boiled crab? Let me actually look it up. Elden Ring boiled crab. Boiled crab boosts physical damage negation for a time. Physical damage negation plus 20%, 60 seconds. Jesus fucking Christ, that's a lot. You can hold up to 99 boiled crab. You can store up to 600 boiled crab. Holy shit. It's just like the Red Lobster strategy is too powerful. Consumables are meant to be used though, true. But I don't like using them. I like stockpiling my stuff and never using them. You ever use the Great Katana? No, not in this playthrough. I have a dex shitter build that I started after I beat the game my first time to see how good katanas were at their peak with like Rivers of Blood and Arcane and stuff, and they were very, very good at the time. That's my conclusion. I absolutely dumpstered on Millennia using Rivers of Blood, but yeah, I'm not using that build. I'm using my Faith Strength build, so... Stop using your JRPG brain for this game. Almost every item can be farmed in this game. I know, but I don't want to farm shit. That's the point. Obviously, I could farm shit, but I don't know. So it's not like I'm actually hard stuck. I haven't even explored all the areas, so I don't. My scatter tree blessing isn't even that high. Not gonna lie, I'm kind of getting sick of the Souls formula. I'm enjoying the oh, hey Green Rider, thanks for the Prime sub. I'm enjoying the DLC much less than I enjoyed the base game. Lucky for you, Black Myth Sun Wukong is right around the corner. He's a Neo head now. I stand by my opinion that Neo has way better combat than Souls games. Like, you can never complain in Neo that the bosses are unfair or something because they attack non-stop, because you have the same stamina and poise bar and shit. And you can see it. So, it definitely is more of a fair fight. I just think it has better rhythm and a wider variety of moveset and stuff like that. What it lacks is the artistic, like, whoa, this is so cool kind of moments. Like, in terms of environmental art. But it has, it definitely has better fights in general. Neo is better combat-wise? It definitely is. I just don't feel like the DLC has the same kind of water cooler moments that the base game had. Because I was fighting Radahn and I was thinking about how awesome the first time you fight Radahn is when you're not, like, prepared. Like, if you've been playing the game blind like I was, and you just walk into Caelid, and there's all these, like, you know, these other warriors, and they're like, it's time for the Radahn Festival, and you're RP slow walking up. And then you go into the middle of the desert after you get the cutscene about him, and you're like, oh shit, and then he one-shots you with his fucking bow. And you're like, oh my god, what the fuck is this? And it's like a raid boss. There hasn't really been anything like that in the DLC, so I love that part, holy shit. And like, the fact that you get to see all the guys you can summon beforehand, it really feels like it's like a scene out of a manga in like Bleach or something, where it's like, warriors, we have all attended here. It's a truly a chills manly man moment. Women can never understand. There was a decidedly somber tone that the DLC was going for. Yeah, I mean, I don't like being in the land of the dead, for one thing. I do like the Abyss, but like the entire area is basically the land of the dead, right? So, I don't know. You're in basically purgatory. I mean, you can say you're in purgatory in literally every single Souls game, but it's more purgatory-y than even the standard Souls environment. Honestly, there are very, very few DLCs that I have enjoyed as much as the base game, because you're kind of too familiar with the mechanics by the time the DLC comes out. The only thing that I can think of in recent times that I was like, this is better than the base game, is Iceborne. But that's about it. I haven't gotten to Sunbreak for Monster Hunter because I don't like the the Nintendo switchiness of the base game of, what was it? Rise. Hype train! Hype! Hype! Hey, Laboonim, thanks for the Prime sub. Old Hunters DLC Bloodborne says hi. Yeah, it's okay. Wait, I can't remember whether was there 2 DLC packs for Bloodborne or was it just 1? If it was just 1, it was a pretty substantial DLC. I don't know. I guess Orphan of Kos was cool and all. I don't know. I'm not as hyped about Bloodborne as a lot of other people are. I enjoyed it somewhat, but it's not like one of my all-time favorite games like it is for some people. It was 1, right? I don't like Rise at all. I'm trying really hard to like Rise, but Rise is just sort of proof in my mind that anything touched by Nintendo becomes worse. They had to make everything like cartoony and cheap and fast-paced because of the fucking Switch. Rise is not weighty at all. It really... Also, I'm a Hunting Horn main, I've decided. And if there's one weapon that really got fucked up with Rise, it's the Hunting Horn. It doesn't play like the normal Hunting Horn at all. It's completely different. It's basically like the easy mode version of Hunting Horn, and it's understandable because everything is so much more fast-paced in Rise than World, but I can see why they felt that they need to simplify it or else it wouldn't keep up with the other weapons, but I don't know, it kind of feels wrong. I mean, $40 is basically an entire another game if you think about it. Also, I think I'm really getting sick of the narrative style that is carried over between Souls games. I was actually thinking about this while I was just jogging about an hour ago, but the current situation that I have with the Souls games, story and lore, it reminds me of how I felt about the single-player story campaign of Call of Duty games. So, because I was a gamer in the peak 360 years and stuff, you know, I was playing Modern Warfare 1 in real time, and I was like, holy shit, this is the sickest, most awesome tactical stuff I've ever done. This must be what war is really like. I'll never get sick of playing this. And by the time you're done with Modern Warfare 3, you're like, I don't really give a fuck about this tactical story mode anymore. I've done the same sort of breach and entry cutscenes for like 15 times. It's like, you can only do the same thing so many times. Somebody needs to tell Miyazaki that the respawn mechanic doesn't need to be part of the lore. Because that's like a huge problem of why the narrative is the same every time, is because they have to be like, no, the reason you die and respawn and all the enemies respawn is because, you know, you're all undead, or death is messed up, or you're in a hunter's dream, blah, blah, blah. It's just like, okay, we're all gamers, we understand the concept of the video game mechanic that if you die, you can respawn and try again, okay? We don't need an in-lore explanation of how that shit works. We don't need to be like a chosen undead for the 10 millionth time, okay? I loved OG Black Ops campaign though, not gonna lie. Yeah, that was when it was still fresh though. But did you love Black Ops 3? For example, I actually was still on board at Black Ops 3. But by the time you get to say Call of Duty Ghosts or Call of Duty, Infinite Warfare or whatever, by the time you get that far, you're basically like, God damn, I'm having a really hard time to give a fuck about this plot. I was gifted, not gifted, but one of the free PlayStation Plus games that I got was Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, which is generally a well-reviewed game with it's considered to have like a good single-player plot. And I had it installed, and I got to like mission 4 or 5 of the single-player campaign. And I was just like, I just can't get myself to care about this shit anymore. Like, I've done this shit so many times. They're trying to vary it, but it doesn't feel different at all. That comes with the setting, "Prithee, forsooth, thine tarnished." It's supposed to sound old, even though Old English, which was never spoken in that supposed period of time, never sounded like that. Do we really know what it actually sounds like? Isn't Oliver understanding just based on Shakespearean plays and shit? I don't really care one way or the other. Isn't Bioshock's Legacy making 3D coup material easier to produce? I'm pretty sure that that's a technology that we would have mastered one way or the other. I don't think Elizabeth was the trailblazer that we're giving her credit for. Old English sounds kind of Dutch or like a cross between German English with a lisp. Is it time where I bring up Canterbury Tales and start reading it on stream again? Here we go, boys. It's Canterbury Tales live reading time. One that April with his sure soot, the drought of March hath pursed the root, and bathed every vein in sweet liquor, of which vitro engendered is the floor. When Zephyrus eke with his sweet breath, inspired hath in every holten heath, the tender crops and the young zone, hath in the ram has half courser on, and smaller fours making melody, that sleeping o'er the night with open ye, so plicketh hem nature in her courages, then longing folk to goon on pilgrimages. And palmers for to saken strange strongs, to fern howls couth in sundry lawns, and specially from every shire's end, of England to Canterbury they wend, the holy blissful martyr for to seek, that him hath holpen when that day was Zeke. Doesn't sound racist enough? I think there's like live readings of it. I don't think I'm doing the pronunciation right. No, this person isn't actually reading it.
sure solda, verdrukte march had persen to the ronda, and badded every vein in which the core, of which virtue engendered is the floor. Once every sing with its waved breath, in spirit hath in every hope and hath it in the cruppels, and the young son had in the ram his halve course run. And small fools maken melodie, that slepen na the nicht with open ear.
Pretty close.
So pricket them natuur in her courages, dan lang in valt te goden aan pilgrimages, and palmers are to seken strande strandes, to verne halves.
This guy is really enamored with the sound of his voice. You can tell he fucking loves doing this. Why does he sound like a Giga Chad Knight? He probably is. This is a channel called Ancient Literature Dude with 9,000 subscribers.
In soothwerk at the tabard as he lay, ready to win in on a pilgrimage, to counterbreed with full devout courage. And nicht was coming to that hostelria, well 29 in a compagnia.
As a woman, you know that if a guy is outside your window and pulls out his lute and starts reading a sonnet to you in this voice, you just immediately get wet and throw him a embroidered letter or something.
So had he spoken with him every chance that he was of her fellowship and man, and made forward early for to reason, to take her way there as he used.
This is 45 minutes long, by the way. It's just a prologue. Jesus Christ. For everyone who's complaining about how entertainment nowadays isn't as good as it used to be, you should be glad that you weren't born in Old English times and the only form of entertainment was going on fucking pilgrimages to Canterbury. And if you didn't go on the pilgrimage, the only form of entertainment was hearing somebody speak about it in that voice. That was the best you got. There was no Elden Ring. Also, you were gonna die of dysentery at like age 30 or something as well, but probably better off that way. Did you know a gay furry group called Siege Sec? No, I do not follow gay furry groups. I don't need information about what gay furry groups are doing with NATO or whatever. There are some things that are better off left unknown, chat. Well, we got 10 minutes into the stream before someone started mentioning the gay furries. Hold on. That was if you drink from the stream, you should have drank ale and only ale. True. Instead, you should just, you can die of a wide variety of other things, such as gout, if you're rich enough. I guess you don't die from gout. You're just in excruciating pain as your joints fill up with acid or something. I don't remember how it works. Reminder that Oda has gout from eating too much rich food and not moving enough, and because he's sitting around drawing One Piece all day long. What a fucking world we live in. I think it's crystals. No death, just pain. Kind of awesome. Pretty metal. People so bored they welcome the bubonic plague. The good thing about the bubonic plague is if all of your neighbors fucking die, you get to take their land, and suddenly everyone's average wealth goes way up. Imagine if all the boomers just died off tomorrow. Suddenly there would be a huge wealth transfer. That's basically what happened. Except it wasn't just the boomers dying off, it was everyone. It's crystals. It's like Final Fantasy, except instead of having like cool magical shit. It's like extremely painful crystals inside your body. It'd be great. Don't worry, guys. The boomers will be gone. We just need to wait another 15 more years. And hope that they don't run us over in the meantime. Just need to survive until they're completely incapable of driving. Which will be never. Because they'll continue to drive even when they're completely incapable of doing it. You'll be 52. That's the way it is. I said the boomers will be dead in like 15 more years, but I'm not sure my mother will be because she's a Japanese woman. The difference between boomers that die when they're like 75 and a boomer that's gonna live till 100 is a solid 25 years. So you can't bet on any of these things, unfortunately. When you're 50, do you think you'll have one underpaid overwork assistant, not you? No, because the way assistants work now, I think it's more easy to have a combination of rotating assistants than it is to have one. I think is what often happens, because people can use this software to like work from home and shit. So I think it's actually more like you have like a group of like 10 people that you can call on instead of having like a team that is always... See, it used to be when you would be working in analog, so you would just like have an apartment. If like you were a popular weekly mangaka, you would have like an apartment and you would just like put all of your assistants in there like it was a fucking, you know, serfdom slave house or some shit like that. You just all throw them into the same room and hope they don't rape each other or something, and then force them to draw like 30 hours a week, or not a week, like 30 hours a day basically. Bro should have his license taken away. He almost drove off the road wanting to look at fumaroles. What's fumaroles? Is this something that I should be aware of? Japanese people with safe Asian diet can live longer than Westerners with their diets. Yes. We must not improve the Western diet or else the American boomers will live even longer. Assuming a flower. Volcano shit? Was he like, look, there's a volcano, and he almost drove off the road? Oh, because you're in Iceland? That's right, I forgot. You're on your, Don't Fall into the Volcano tour. Boomer challenge, don't drive off the road into a volcano. A fire geyser. If there's one thing that Dark Souls games have taught me, it's that if you drive your car into lava, you're gonna get like 10,000 damage per second and then die. Iceland is a lovely place except for the eternal darkness and constant earthquakes. Doesn't Iceland have like insanely high suicide rate as well? I believe I was reading some sort of New York Times article about how they like dealing with the crazy suicides. Like everybody knew someone who had committed suicide, especially young people. Everyone is just offing themselves. You know, the eternal darkness will do that to you, I guess. Banger hot dogs. Sounds nice. Can it be higher than JP's rate? JP having high suicide rate is kind of overrated, and it hasn't been that high for a while, actually. They're not even in the top 5 anymore, I think. People just wish that Japanese suicide rate was high because it would be like the Samurai Bushido code and like cool. It would be like, oh no, Tanaka-san, I have dishonored my family. I must commit harakiri. But it's not that high. Do they have whale burgers? Isn't whale super fatty? I've heard that you can eat whale bacon in Japan, and I haven't heard particularly good things about it. Most people say that it's like oily and not particularly good. It has like a distinct smell to it. I don't know. Nobody has said like, oh my god, I fucking love whale. From what I've heard on the Japanese internet, so I'm not particularly in any rush to eat it. Had whale in Japan, it tasted like ass. It used to be like the cheap food that you could eat in Japan, in post-war Japan, so you wouldn't like starve to death. And the only reason that like Japanese people still hunt whale is because there's like a group of right-wingers who are basically the equivalent of the American Keikona clappers being like, nah, the international community can't tell us what we can or can't do. But nobody actually wants to fucking eat whale. We have better food out there. You probably shouldn't be hunting these gigantic animals. It's fine. Again, nobody actually wants to eat them, so they don't hunt that many. There's spiteful bastards everywhere in the world. I mean, if you're talking about right-wing politicians generally live their entire life in permanent ass-hurt mode about how the way the world has changed and is no longer the way it used to be, so... Do people really eat cicadas and grasshoppers? I don't think cicadas are grasshoppers. I think they eat locusts, which are slightly different but similar to grasshoppers, I think is the plan. The world economy doesn't rely on whale oil anymore. Yeah, Western nations being like, no, Japan, you must not kill the whales, they're our best friend, is kind of silly considering that they were the ones who are like, we need to kill 10 million whales a day so we can have nice oil for our lamps. Obviously, we don't need that to do that, but it's standard Western moral superiority shit. It doesn't rely on whale oil anymore because they're damn near extinct, LMAO. No, we don't rely on whale oil anymore because there's a ton of things that burn better than whale oil, and we don't need to have burning oil to light our lamps in the first place. That's why. We haven't let animals being close to going extinct to get in the way of our convenience in other fields, so... If whale oil was the only source of good lighting, I bet we'd still be murdering the shit out of whales if they hadn't gone extinct already. But we don't need to do that now, do we? Considering we all have this handy-dandy cell phone that is already backlit. We should kill whales for fun. That's basically what the Japanese right-wing, quote-unquote, whale investigation, like research boats, that's the term they use, research boats are doing. Considering there isn't a huge local demand for whale meat. They're like, no, we're researching them by killing them LMAO. Orcas aren't even really whales, they're demonic dolphins. Orcas are dolphins if they were like 10 times bigger than dolphins and had more fun torturing seals instead of dragging human women into their rape caves. Every Japanese creative I have ever liked, I learned was some right-wing neo-imperialist wacko. Every seriously liked, I mean, some of them are more obviously imperialist wackos than others. Like, I forgot the guy's name, but there's that one guy who always is writing stories about the Japanese SDF force getting sent back in time to fight in World War II or some shit like that. I think it was like Kawaguchi Keiji or something. He's the most successful of the right-wing imperialist mangaka. If you want the Japanese right wing to flip-flop on something, tell them that Koreans are doing it. Surely that will change something. Ironically, the Japanese right wing and Korean right wingers are on relatively good terms right now. I can't remember if the election has flipped since then, but there was the Korean Moon presidency, and then he lost. And after that, they had like a brief period in which they were like, we're not going to go after each other for a while. They might be back at it, but the one that made Drifters, no, the guy who made Drifters is, he might be a Japanese imperialist, but he's much more of just a military otaku, which is not the same thing. So, this is the guy I'm talking about. I should use, Silent Service. The author's name is Kawaguchi Keiji. He's had multiple series about, military shit and naval shit, and it's always like, damn, Japan is fucking awesome. He's basically the Tom Clancy of Japan, I would call it. Except if you're Tom Clancy in America, you're just like a normal standard American. That's like the big hypocrisy. If like you're like, God damn, I love the military in America, you're just an average Walmart K-Kona. Whereas if you do that in Japan, you're like a fucking psychotic fascist. This is what happens when you lose a war. You're not allowed to be like, I love the military anymore. How do you input your brush strokes? I have a pen tablet. I have an XP Pen Deco Pro tablet. Isn't JP's currently military the defense force, or did that change? Yeah, it's the defense force. They are not allowed to attack other countries, according to the Constitution. They're a pretty powerful modern military, so if they actually got in a fight with, say, North Korea or something, they'd probably kick pretty serious ass considering the number of naval ships and stuff they have, but because they're not allowed to actually fire until they get fired on, they're always at a serious disadvantage from that aspect. They should change the constitution. The right-wing politicians of Japan have been trying to change the constitution for a long time, and America wants Japan to change the constitution because they don't want Japan to be freeloading on their nuclear umbrella. So there's a lot of people who agree with that, but the Japanese left wing and pacifists and stuff think that they have something nice going on right now, so they try very hard to do the opposite. Considering that the Liberal Democratic Party is center-right in Japanese politics, and has been in power for, I don't know, the last 60 years or something, almost non-stop, and they still haven't been able to change the Constitution. Shows you how hard it is to change the Constitution. My soul yearns for another prosperity sphere, but this time with hamburger. I got into a huge argument with Avantix regarding this just like a few days ago, because I was making the claim that Japanese imperialism was relatively in line with other countries at the time, and he was like, nah, it's only equal to the Nazis. But I think we tend to forget that you know, there was a bunch of fascist countries, and besides the fascists, there was also the Soviets, who were basically raping and killing everything that they went through as well. So you fought with Ava again? Yeah. I have a strong belief that Western politics likes to exaggerate Japanese war crimes. Well, not exaggerate, but they use Japanese war crimes as a safety net for their own war crimes. And I have an argument that the Japanese imperial military was basically in line with a lot of other military powers at the time, because they were just colonizing everything around them, which is what, you know, America was doing as well. I mean, look at fucking Belgium. Did you know what they did in the Congo? I mean, I really started thinking about this when I was checking Twitter, and people were like, this is a map of the Japanese imperial menace. Look how it was spreading across the Pacific. And then the map shows like Hawaii, quote unquote, the United States, Burma, quote unquote, the British occupied Burma, French Indonesia, etc., etc. I'm like, wait a second. All of these locations, all of these islands are... There's something weird about all these islands. Oh, right, they're all occupied by Western colonialist powers to begin with. Are we really pretending that Japan is that different? Is my argument. Don't blame him. His country just beat a literal Nazi party that was expected to win in their election. He's probably just feeling triumphant. Was that like a situation in which the French were, they weren't paying attention, and then they realized that the ultra giga conservative fascist whatever Marie Le Pen party was actually going to win, and everyone was like, oh shit, we have to vote? I didn't think they were actually going to win. Is that what basically what happened? I wasn't really paying attention. Base BB, anti-colonialist. I think we kind of ignore the level of colonialism that was going on. Or more like a lot of European countries want us to ignore it, because, you know, it kind of makes all of their moral grandstanding difficult to do when, you know, they've been going around collecting slaves for 100 years, and then World War II and stuff happens, and they're like, we're the good guys, so... Far right, Pepe laugh. There's different levels of far right. Wait, does French elections work in which there's like a preliminary election, and then once that happens, you have like a secondary election to lock in stuff. Is that how it works? I kind of wish that America had a functioning democracy like that, so we wouldn't have to deal with the horrible two-party system. But alas, that will never happen. The far right at this point is just like a media word for just regular right, so they don't alienate centrists. Yeah, like, do you really count as far right? If you don't have, like, a fascist manifesto or something. Hey, Rusty Kang, thanks for the Prime sub. I appreciate the support. Marie Le Pen just said the quiet part out loud, but the French have been like this for years. They have multiple parties, but to my knowledge, Macron and Le Pen rep the most popular parties. The popular part out... The quiet part out loud is like, we have too many immigrants, right? Which they probably do. It's not really my problem, so I don't care, but... Marie hates brown people and has a Karen haircut. Who was the French politician who was like super hot? Wasn't she like a socialist? And people were like, God damn, this woman is super hot. Does anyone remember her name? I want to look at her bikini pics again. Was it Italian, not French? Anti-colonialists blatantly ignore the fact that certain people without colonies in their country will start assaulting ships and stealing people from coastal cities. Hey, don't complain about Sudanese culture. Oh, Carla Bruni, Sarkozy's wife. Is that who am I thinking about? I think it is. God damn, she is hot. It's not who I was thinking about, but yes, she's very attractive. Although in a very European, strong-jawed kind of way, so me being a Japanese Coomer, it's not the kind of face that Japanese people like. Yeah, she has very strong cheekbones. She's the type of face that you really have to have the right hairstyle to cover up the extremely powerful cheekbones and chin. Like, the bangs and the side bangs have to do a shit ton of work, because the cheekbones and chin are extremely strong. If she didn't have her hair, see, like, if she has the right... Oh, this is somewhat... Yeah, if she has the right hairstyle, it basically covers up all the problems. But if she doesn't have the side hair, then it's instantly noticeable. Yes, the boomers are being strong again, unfortunately. I love a woman who looks like a Giga Chad. Can't coom if there's no massive chin. She looks quite leathery. She hasn't had her Botox recently. Unfortunately, once you start to look leathery, there's really nothing you can do about it. Your skin aging is completely unstoppable. There's things that you can do to try and convince people that you're not as old as you are, but your skin will get old, it will start to get leathery, it will start to droop. No amount of poisonous neurotoxin injections will stop you from being old. To be fair, she's a European in her late 50s who definitely soaked in baby oil while suntanning. True. One way to not get leathery skin, as obvious, is not sit on the beach and soak up 10 million tons of UV rays like you're being exposed to a fucking hydrogen bomb or something. That will help. This is why I avoid the sun. Let's be honest, you don't avoid the sun because you want to keep your beautiful skin. You avoid the sun because you're a fucking vampire goth and you start to melt. Both are true. You just need to take out your own blood and then re-inject it inside of you. No, wait. What were they doing? They were doing blood face something, right? They were taking out their own blood and then giving themselves like a facial pack with their own blood or some shit. And then the needles or something that they were using to extract the blood were being reused and then everyone got AIDS. Was that what happened? I can't remember. This is recent news, by the way, if you weren't following this. It was like Californians doing this shit, right? Blood facials was the term, yes. I blocked that memory. Vampire facial. News. New CDC report links vampire facials to HIV transmission. Kick W. They weren't using the correct source. They should have properly gone and drank the blood of pure virgin maidens. Dracula understood this. No hoes. Only the purest virgins for his blood harem. I can't believe how the alt-right is in meltdown over J.D. Vance having an Indian wife. See, now I have to Google J.D. Vance's wife to see how hot she is. J.D. Vance wife. She's okay. She kind of has like a sunken look to her eyes. Like she's being haunted by something. It reminds me of The Shining, almost. The dynamic. I feel like he's going to start typing his newest book of Hillbilly Elegy, and when she looks at the typewriter, it just says, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, and then he starts breaking down the toilet door with his hatchet. God, he's such a punchable face. There's a reason why he has a beard. Is because he has a really big fat face that just makes him look fat even if he isn't fat. So he has to grow a beard. He's just a standard neck beard, honestly. 4chaners should really self-insert as him. She looks exactly like all the Indian women in their late 30s, early 40s. I think in general Indian women are pretty attractive. if you're getting the high class stock that we see in America that have become attractive after centuries of Brahmin caste system breeding. Is it caste or caste? It's caste, right? 4chan would self-insert into his wife. Yeah. Indian women are basically white. Find the next IRL Yoruichi. Yoruichi is just the vaguely brown Japanese archetype, unfortunately. Face slightly too small for the head. He has the Charlie Kirk effect. Don't worry, guys. Nobody's going to be thinking about JD Vance in like 6 months. Whenever anybody is like, this vice president pick is so important, it never is. As long as your vice president isn't fucking Sarah Palin and it's just like a national embarrassment, nobody's going to fucking think about your vice president. Especially when Trump is president. If there's one rule about your vice president, it's that they can't have more media appearances than the president, because then the president gets annoyed and pissy. So we're not going to think about anybody's vice president in the future. I was disappointed Trump didn't pick the dude with an eye patch, also another vaguely white guy. I remember the moment Palin opened her mouth years ago. Instant no. The thing about Palin is we've had stupid vice presidents in the past. It's just that she was extremely aggressive in her stupidity in a way that made her extremely difficult to ignore. It was also before Trump, so the American right hadn't convinced itself that they were okay with having really stupid people as their president or vice president. I think that, well, maybe not Palin, but I think someone similar to Sarah Palin could get away with it in a post-Trump world. Trump has opened a lot of doors for people who can't speak properly to become national politicians. It's just the way in which Sarah Palin speaks. It's not just like a lack of knowledge and stuff. She's just very aggressive in the way that she attacks you with her ignorance. How far are we from having a Democratic Trump? You mean in which he just starts changing his political stances because he's trying to get the votes of people who are pro-abortion and stuff? I don't know. We're not that far. Trump doesn't have any like actual political ideologies besides he wants people to pay attention to him and he doesn't want to go to jail, so he's willing to change his political stuff as soon as he has any kind of opportunity. He's definitely not a Christian, that's for sure. It's very condescending in the most ignorant way. Did you see the JoJo reenactment of the Trump event? I'm assuming that Star Platinum grabbed the bullet out of mid-air or something. Reminds me of the same energy as a stupid teenage girl who thinks she's smarter than everyone. Yeah, she has like a real cheerleader energy to her. Like, hello everyone! That feeling. Let's all get excited and listen to me talk. That kind of feeling. At the end of the day, people are willing to tolerate a stupid person if they like them. And nobody really liked Palin, so that's the problem. At the end of the day, it's very difficult to get people to like you if you're an unlikable person. Just ask Hillary. Joe Biden's superpower isn't that he's likable or unlikable, it's just that he's so fucking vanilla, milquetoast, boring that he doesn't even register. He's just sort of there. Nobody really cares about Joe Biden one way or the other, which allowed him to sort of sneak by under the radar when he was obviously going senile for the last 4 years. People were like, wait, he's talking for the first time in 4 years. I haven't been paying attention to him. I didn't know he was senile. It's like, wow, who could have seen that one coming? Trump is so charismatic, too based. He is charismatic. That's the truth. Like, I don't think left-wing Twitter wants to admit that, but we haven't had any kind of politicians in the past where people are actually willing to stand around and listen to him talk for like an hour and a half. Like, that is charisma right there. Obviously, the people who are listening to that shit are, you know, brain-dead fucking Kekona dumbasses, but those guys are pretty hard to please. If they're not going to like a rodeo or a monster truck rally or something, it's hard to get them to stand around for 2 hours at a time. So the fact that Trump can actually do that to some degree is really impressive. Biden is the vanilla ice cream cone of the presidential candidates. When I heard that Biden's favorite food was ice cream and his favorite flavor is vanilla, I believe that's correct, I was just like, holy shit, that's so Biden. That's like the most Biden thing I could ever think of. That's all you need to know about him. He fucking likes vanilla ice cream. Democrats went back to sleep after Biden won and forgot that maintaining the most powerful government in the world is more important than just getting mad at Trump during his administration. I mean, I don't know how asleep they went. It's more like the voters went to sleep. Although I guess the Democratic Party wasn't checking up on Biden. But, I don't know. This just is standard American politics. One side gets elected, the other side is like, yay, we won, and then immediately the other side is like, no, we want to undo everything that happened, and it just keeps on going back and forth like a seesaw. And then there's one or two things that break through in terms of policy that people decide that this is like the new normal, like gay marriage and stuff, and then the center shifts a little. But all in all, it just keeps on going back and forth. As long as the president doesn't cause like a total nuclear apocalypse. The truth is, the American lifestyle isn't bad enough for people to actually feel the effects of politics in their own lives 99% of the time. So they end up voting for things that they think they feel in their daily lives, like quote-unquote the economy, which is not something that is controlled by the president at all. But they're like, oh, the economy is bad right now, which is why it's all Biden's fault, blah, blah, blah. It's like, A, you don't actually know whether the economy is good or bad or not. That's like macroeconomic shit, and you can't tell because you're just like, you're making $15 an hour as a McDonald's employee. And B, the president doesn't actually control the economy. It has nothing to do with your vote. Part of me just wants to stay here in Iceland. Does Iceland even have any industry? It used to be like banking, right? And then their banking fucking collapsed in 2008. So I don't know what they do now besides like fishing and shit. Vacation or work? Vacation. In reality, the Puffin army has kidnapped Hystrixia. This isn't actually her typing, it's the Puffins typing. She's fucking tied up in a cave right now, while the Puffins eat her innards. Trump presided over making the $1.5 trillion for the airline industry to bail them out during COVID. Yeah, I'm pretty sure any president would have done that though. You don't want all their fucking airline industry to just collapse. We all need airlines. It's pretty funny how the airlines are always on the verge of bankruptcy at any time. How fucking unprofitable is that shit? Why is it always like that? It's like, oh, looks like we have to go bankrupt again. They didn't get the 1.5 trillion from anywhere. I'll tell you a secret. America can fucking print money. It just manifests money out of nothing. Which is why we have inflation, but not actually. Being the world's reserve currency is a massive advantage in everything. So America can really get away with a lot of shit that other countries like Venezuela will not get away with. A lot of these companies are borderline bankrupt because they have no obligation to keep emergency money and it all goes into CEO investor pockets. Yeah, there was like a New York Times article that I read about why Japan has some of the oldest companies in the world that have been going on for like 200 years and stuff. And they were like, this is because Japanese companies, when they have a profitable year, actually create cash reserves. And I was like, holy shit. They've figured it out. Instead of immediately paying massive giga bonuses to their fucking CEO and stockholders, you just have a bunch of cash on hand. Who could have imagined that Japanese could be so smart? Such crazy technology they have. Don't just throw away all your fucking money immediately. Why is it a crime when I print money but not them? It's not fair. The short answer to that question is that because the US government, has a shit ton of guns. That's why. And they can fucking murder you if they want to. And yes, it's very unfair, unfortunately. The infinite growth model, i.e. Netflix, is completely baffling. At some point it will stop, but it's not clear when that point is. I mean, we're seeing that in the tech sector. We saw that after COVID, right? They were like, holy shit, everyone's at home. They're all watching our stuff. Hire, hire, hire. Oh my god, blah, 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 blah. And then it's like, oh shit, people aren't home anymore. Fire everyone. Fire, fire, fire. It's just that Netflix has been doing the whole, we're going to be in the red and we're just going to keep on going like this. I remember correctly, you said that you like Invincible. What is your favorite character? I read the Invincible comics because they were in the library where I would chill in, which is why I like it. I like Invincible because the artist has a distinct art style and it's one artist instead of like the 10 million different artists that you usually get with the American comic book model. Who's my favorite character? I don't know. I mostly read Invincible because I wanted to come. I like Multiplicate. The Asian female superhero whose superpower is creating multiple versions of herself. And she does the thing that you automatically assume that she would do, which is have like 5 sums with her boyfriend. Instant harem. It would also be the kind of harem that you want, because the number one problem with a harem is if it's like multiple women and they actually start getting jealous with each other. You have to do a lot of ego management and stuff. But if it's just one woman who can split herself into multiple versions of herself, then you can have 5 sums and then like have her delete the other versions of herself or whatever. Low maintenance. I think Adam Eve is too much of a Stacy for me. Also, she reminds me of the far left people that I went to high school with. I had a massive crush on a lefty hippie girl in my high school, and I went to prom with her. And according to Facebook, she's currently in San Francisco and part of the Falun Gong cult now, so I never really had a chance with her in the long run, but I even assuming that I did, I definitely dodged a bullet on that one. Hey, what's up? Baal and his Falun Gong childhood sweetheart. She was a kind of hippie airhead. She was also very tall. She's taking old man cult leader cock now. I'm pretty sure she's just taking like standard San Francisco soy boy cock, but either way it doesn't matter. I'm happier alone. I'm not even coping when I say that, because my mother is away in Japan and I have the house to myself. So besides the 10,000 hours of cat maintenance I have to do to keep the cat happy, it's pretty nice to be alone. I can walk around naked. Send me the cat. Don't you already have a needy cat? The cat is very emotionally needy, my cat. Or not my cat, really my mother's cat. But she's also easily pleased. So as long as you keep on petting her non-stop. She also isn't like picky about how you pet her. As long as you're paying attention to her and petting her, then she's instantly happy. So from that aspect, she's pretty easy to deal with. I just don't have time to be petting her all day, you know? I need a replacement. Mine is getting old and deaf. This one's pretty old too. It's not deaf, but it's definitely getting there. She has arthritis, as many old animals tend to have. So she has difficulty jumping up onto the sofa and shit. Is it 17 years old? I don't think it's that old. It's probably like 10 or 12. Maybe not even 12. I think it's like around 10. I don't know. I don't pay attention to this shit. It's not 17. Did you hear that the world record cat was like 40 years old? I was like, there's no way a cat can live till 40, but that's what the Guinness Book says. I think it's unconfirmed, but... Cat oldest age record. Oh, 28. Cream Puff 1967-2005 of Austin, Texas is the oldest verified cat ever. Oh, it's 38 years is how long Cream Puff lived. What a fucking Giga Chad. Birth date 1967, death date 2005. It basically lived as long as a human. Here's fucking Cream Puff. Cream Puff, alive from the JFK assassination to, like, the new millennium. Ages 28 and 29. Looking pretty good for 28 in this. Cream Puff's owner, Jake Perry, said her diet consisted of dry cat food, supplemented with broccoli, eggs, turkey bacon, coffee with cream, and every 2 days, an eyedropper full of red wine. Perry claimed that this diet was key to her longevity and that the wine circulated the arteries. Yeah, this is bullshit. It's just fucking genetics. This is like all those studies that were funded by the wine industry that were like paying attention to the French people that live in a specific part of France, and it's just genetics that they live long, but the wine industry is pretending that it was because they were drinking wine at dinner. It's like, no. It's not wine. They just have good genetics. Look at the face of a cat who outlived Kurt Cobain. Absolute genetic supremacy. Yeah. The cat wasn't depressed. It was probably doing fun cat things. Whereas Kurt Cobain was sag. So. Broccoli. Pretty sure cats can only digest fats and proteins. Just built different. It probably was like some sort of Japanese yokai cat. It probably transformed into a cat girl at night and was fucking the owner. It didn't actually die. It just went off to its shrine or whatever. It's still alive today. Literally 2,000-year-old cat yokai. They eat grass to clean out. Yeah, we have a bunch of kitty grass and we have a bunch of house plants around the cat area, and the cats just like munch on the house plants. You'd think this would kill the house plants eventually, but it's still alive. Isn't Bakeneko the name of the yokai? Hystrixia misspelled the name. It's Neko Mata instead of Neko Mane. Mata means like split, or like you're like forked or something. It has two tails. Bakeneko just means, Bake means like yokai transformation. So it's just literally like monstrous cat. Nekomata is more specific. So when women call me a bakemono, when they see my massive 18-inch cock in bed, that's what they mean. You can't kappa me. You don't know whether I have an 18-inch cock or not. Is it the size or the shape? I don't know. It doesn't really matter. I just want to have a penis in which, when women see it, they fear and respect it. You don't want women to look at your penis and be like, "That's so cute." That's the wrong reaction. The reaction you want is awe. Like they're seeing a nuclear bomb detonate for the first time. Horror. You have said that you have both a huge and small cock depending on your mood. It's all relative. None of us have a large penis compared to that of a humpback whale. And yet the humpback whale's penis is small in comparative to its total size, whereas the barnacle's penis is tiny, and yet it elongates to like 5 times the length of the barnacle's total body or something like that. If anything for me would be the self-esteem boost of having a big pecker. Yes, females will not understand this, but as long as you have a big cock, that sort of ends any kind of pissing contest between men. Like, your neighbor can be like, "I have a new boat," or "I make all this much money," and all you have to say is like, "I have a 20-inch cock," and they'll immediately just shut up, because you can't beat that, you know? A duck's penis is like a corkscrew and can rip off. 10 million years of rape, non-stop rape, will do that to you. Your penis and vaginas evolve in weird, weird ways. Why are ducks so weird? Especially when it comes to sex. Whenever I see ducks when I'm like outside jogging and stuff like that, it's always like 2 male ducks and 1 female duck, and they're also like trying to rape the female duck. Ducks give no fucks. Unfortunately, they give lots of fucks. That's kind of the problem. When I was lifeguarding, I could see outside the window. It was an inside pool, and it was just like 2 male ducks and 1 female duck, and the 2 male ducks were fighting each other and also chasing around the female duck in an attempt to rape it for like 30 minutes. They just kept on going and going. And I couldn't understand why they didn't just like leave and fly away, but you know, it's ducks. They just be doing duck things, you know? Dolphins use dead fish as sleeves. I mean, I guess it's better that they're dead. It's better than the story that we learned, where we learned that seals use penguins as Ona holes. This kills the penguin. The seal is like, penguin fucking time, let's fucking go. And the penguin's like, no, please, sir. Ah! And then it dies. Don't kink shame dolphins. I think it's okay to kink shame dolphins. They can't come out of the ocean to hurt us. Maybe orcas only torture the seals that rape penguins. I'm pretty sure there isn't that kind of cosmic karma going on here, no. Orcas give 0 fucks. Yeah, orcas are legitimately at the top of the food chain, so... Apparently sperm whales are the true haters of orcas, just fucking with their hunts. I guess sperm whales would be the only thing that would be big enough to fuck with orcas, but they don't swim around in packs. Yes, orcas, please capsize more yachts. I agree. I mean, the only people who have yachts are extremely rich assholes, so it would be totally, extremely based and red-pilled if Jeff Bezos' giga yacht just gets flipped over by a bunch of orcas just for fun. I got to see belugas earlier today. Those guys are very silly. Shout out to Chicken Fucker who made Free Willy, the heartwarming movie about the mass murders of the sea. I mean, as cynical I am about Free Willy being a stupid fucking movie, I also don't think they should be kept in SeaWorld, because fuck SeaWorld. Both can be true at the same time. We don't have to choose one or the other, you know? I realized I hadn't drawn the navel. Extremely important. I want to fight orcas in their element. I'm pretty sure that's a losing battle. I could hear their clicking through the glass, which made me wonder what they were saying. They were probably like, I want more fish. And the other one was like, nah, fuck you, you're fat as fuck. Homeward Bound is GOAT. We had several animal movies in our time. It was Free Willy, Flipper, Homeward Bound, The Sandlot, Air Bud. Am I missing any? Babe. Weird dudes have no squishy head. My impression of belugas is they're just like telling jokes to each other all day long. They're just really, they think they're fucking hilarious. Balto, yeah. I will train like One Punch Man and fight every fucking orca. If you try and actually fight the orcas, you also have to beat the shit out of a bunch of 4th grade girls who have been brainwashed into thinking that whales are our friends. I swear to God, every girl back in my day in elementary school had like some kind of whale trapper keeper. Oh, the Zoomers in chat probably don't even know what a trapper keeper is. Sad, really. They missed out on one of the greatest inventions of all time. How will they enjoy a children's binder with colorful computer graphic images on the cover? They don't know? Yeah. It's just a fucking binder. They don't make trapper keepers. I think they were very short-lived, actually. It's just a binder, man. Let's see. Which version of Trapper Keeper did you have? This was my my memory of Trapper Keepers when they were around. They always had like some really early stage computer graphics shit on it. Yeah, this kind of this stuff. It's just a really thick, heavy-ass binder. Whoa! Man, look at this awesome logo, dude. It was a better time. Not really. But we'll just say it was. What are Trapper Keepers? Just notebooks? They're binders. I think they had more pockets and stuff in them. But they were just an invention for American school kids to stick all their papers and shit in one binder. So you had these huge, fucking ass, huge Trapper Keepers. And they would have, I don't know, computer graphic images of the planets of the solar system or something on them. Mine has a grizzly bear on it. Gotta have a bunch of dolphins swimming through a lagoon with like a moon and the Milky Way above them. What's the name of that artist that does that shit? Dolphin art, moon, space. Lisa Frank, yeah, that's it. That's what I was thinking about. Lisa Frank was a mood. So Lisa Frank is the most psychedelic, hyper colored version of that, right? You have like these super pink and purple shit. But I remember in the 90s and the 2000s, it wasn't like the full Lisa Frank mode. It was like dolphins, swimming, art, space, planets, some shit like that. This type of stuff. Like this. I feel like this kind of image where it's like dolphins swimming in a moon. Yeah, this shit right here. This is what I'm talking about. This is why American female 4th grade children have all been brainwashed into thinking that like whales are their best friends. Whale, dolphin, orcas. Is they would have like some kind of binder with the fucking whale friends on it in the ocean, and then there would be like the planets and like space and a galaxy above it. I feel like this was on like 10% or 20% of the binders back in the day. Jet planes against cyberspace grid, yes. Dolphins when they get high on pufferfish, exactly. It's like, bro, I can see the Milky Way. If you put that way, Japan also brainwashed us into giant yellow rats are our friends too. Is Pikachu really anyone's friend though, besides Ash? How many people are like, I fucking love Pikachu? I felt like people would have their own favorite Pokemon. Like, I definitely wasn't someone who self-inserted as Ash and I was like, Pikachu's my favorite pocket monster. I thought we all would have our own favorite pocket monster. Isn't that the point? As a child, I was always like... I like the round Pokemon that explodes and stuff. Raichu is way cooler than Pikachu. Now that's a hipster take if I've ever seen one. Pikachu is just for dumb kids who didn't actually play. It also bugs me how in the Pokemon anime, all the Pokemon speak with their name. When in fact, in the Game Boy, if you listen to the sound of their voice in Game Boy, it's always like... Because, you know, it's like 8-bit sound or whatever. It sounds like grating nails across a blackboard. And in the anime, they're just Pika-Pee, Pika-Pikachu, Pika. For every single fucking Pokemon. Blastoise, Blastoise. Frog. They make that dumb gargle bit sound. Yeah, basically every single one of the Pokemon voices is just that gargling sound. It's crazy that they were able to fit so much game on one cartridge, though, if you think about it. This is back in the day when storage space was shit, so you actually needed talented programmers to just cram that shit on one Game Boy cartridge. But they did a really good job. Siren, yes. Oh, I'm living in Gotham City out here, boys. Just sirens piercing through the night. Alright guys, I'm about to pass out, so I'm going to stop here. I did absolutely nothing on stream. I colored in the lines for about an hour. I should be able to do that in like 5 minutes, but I'm really sleepy, so I'm going to go to sleep. Ah, good night.